Assalamu alaikum, everyone. My name is Ashraf Nageeb Khalifa. I'm the marketing manager of Trainome, and welcome to this week's episode, which is going to be talking about growth and development, which in Arabic اللي هي التنمية wait, what was it again? تنمية وتربية. تربية
والصعود
وتنمية.
المنزلي.
بالضبط كده. We're gonna talk about this probably for like about 10-15 minutes or so. And it's me and my colleague Zara. So Zara, what would you like to start us off with?
What, me? What? Hold on,
Yeah.
because I tend to put quite a lot on this thing. So, like in relation to
Probably
what
like
we
your
are.
voice and everything. Very soothing.
Okay, so so basically, as Ashraf said earlier on, we are going to cover personal values. We're covering personal development. So we're speaking to you about like goals and things like this. And this is one part of our course as well. So this is a module within our course. We're only going to run through like 5% of it. So it's not like everything. And as you know, we are with Trainome. This is our third video on a Tuesday, and today is the 4th of the 8th. So yeah, continue with us. Ashraf is going to go through the questions that we have, and he's going to tell you a little bit about his own personal experiences, and then I'll speak.
Perfect. So the questions that we have are, I'm gonna read the question out in English, and then I'm gonna translate it into Arabic before I go on to the next question. So the first question is, what is important in your life? In Arabic, الحاجات شنو المهمة في حياتك? Then the next question is, if you could have a career without worrying about money or any practical constraints, what would you do? فالسؤال ده يعني لو قال لك في الشغل بتاعك، لو ما عندك الهموم بتاعت الشغل، او يعني حاجات تانية يعني بتعين او بتوقف، يعني هل يعني الوظيفة ولا الكارير بتاعك يعني داير تدخل فيه شنو؟ The next question is, when you are reading news stories, what sort of story or behavior tends to inspire you? دي لما تقرا يعني الاخبار، يعني يعطوا انواع من يعني طريقه القصه، يعني بيكتبوها كيف. هل يعني دي اكثر واحده inspiration، يعني بتديك الحماس، ولا بتديك الطاقه، ولا بتديك يعني انا ما اعرف هنا بالعربي. The next one is, when you're reading, no, that's the one that we just did. So what type of story or behavior makes you angry? فيعطوا أنواع من التصرفات أو من المواقع أو القصص بتخليك تكون زعلان. And then the next question is, what do you want to change about the world or about yourself? اللي هي دي أكثر حاجة داير تغيرها في العالم ولا في حياتك شنو؟ The next question is, what are you the most proud of? اللي هي أكتر حاجة أنت فخور بها شنو؟ And then the last but not least is, when were you the happiest? فأكتر وقت أنت كنت سعيد فيها متين ولا شنو؟ How did I do, Miss Zara?
ترجمته مضبوط اصلا، كل الترجمه صح. كنت بترجمه بالسعودي بس قلت خلينا بالسوداني لانه نفس الشيء اصلا.
ايوه، اللغه العجيبه.
السوداني واضح. انت السؤال الاول كان انه ايش المواقع اللي خلتك تفتخر في نفسك، ولا ايش الاشياء اللي سويتها اللي خلتك تفتخر من نفسك؟
ده كان السؤال الاول ولا كان
لا، هذه من الاسئله، عشان انت سالتهم، انت وريتنا الاسئله وانا الحين بسالك من ناحيه الاسئله.
هذا اللي تمشي الترتيب. All right, just to give me 1 minute, we've got a couple of comments. I think قال لكم أحمد ممكن تسألوا أسئلتكم تحت هنا أفتكر. Okay, so I think he wants me to put the questions in the comment thing. So I'm going to give you the opportunity to answer, because I know you wanted to ask me first. But
yeah, it's not a problem.
While I type the answers, I will let you talk. I mean, the questions are not
Okay, so in relation to, remember when you put the questions down as well, we are, as you know, guys, we're putting the questions down in English because what we are doing is we are trying to نحسن الكلام من ناحية اللغة الإنجليزية. So السؤال الأول اللي أشرف قال لي هو من ناحية الأشياء اللي أنا مفتخرة فيها ولا الأشياء اللي خلتني أفتخر من نفسي فيها. أنا مفتخرة من نفسي إنه من ناحية حياتي وش سويت في حياتي، الدراسات اللي سويت، بس الشيء اللي أنا فخورة منه بالنسبة لي اللي هو مسؤوليتي من ناحية أخواني وأخواتي. The proudest thing that the most important thing for me and something that makes me very, very proud is to see how much, you know, my siblings and how much the people I love around me progress. I'm proud of myself in relation to what I have done and what I am continuously doing. So throughout the coronavirus, as you may have seen our videos before, I have been working online in Spain, and I'm very, very proud in relation to the opportunities that you know, my education has given me in relation to the things that I've been able to do and the places that I've been able to go. In relation to the things that make me angry, lying is something that لما الإنسان يكذب، الكذب عندي أنا من ناحية هذا الشيء يغضبني بشكل، ولما الإنسان يكون عنده طموح ولا يكون عنده شيء يبغى يسويه وما عنده القوة والإمكانية وما يتصرف بالطريقة إنه هو يكون يعني قادر على إنه يسوي شيء. So when you have people, for example, who are like, I really want to do this, I really want to do this, but they don't have any action, you know, that's something that kind of like makes me feel, I wouldn't say I dislike it, it just irritates me. So when I have children who are 9 years old who wake up in the morning and who are doing, you know, their work, who are awake in the morning going, oh, hola, Professor Zara, how are you today, Zara? That's another thing that makes me happy with myself. In relation to the other questions, was what? Ashraf, give me a question, please.
I'm actually trying to find them. I don't know what I did with them. How did I make them disappear?
I normally have the questions memorized in my head, in my mind. When were you the happiest? Okay, when was I the happiest?
I found it. All right. Yes. So are we both answering the questions or are we not answering the questions? Both.
No, we're answering the questions, but basically the way that we're doing it is you can speak about so you can respond to any question you choose to. You don't have to respond to every single one of the questions. It's just to try and give the opportunity for other people who want to ask questions or who want to respond to the questions can do as well. So إذا أنت شفتوا الأسئلة من تحت الكومنتات، الأسئلة اللي كتبها أشرف وتبغوا أنتوا تجاوبوا، حياكم. You know, so أنا وأشرف will keep you entertained for like ما أدري كم بالوقت اللي تبونه.
All right, so I am now typing up the questions and sending them. All right, so the first one is, what is important in your life? So for me, what is important in my life? I would say like Sudan, I think plays a very, very important role in my life, and in terms of not just like my identity, but in terms of the country itself, that I want to see it like become a better place. I want Sudanese people to feel proud to be from Sudan, and I want people to, because it's very weird. Like a lot of times, when you see Sudanese people outside of Sudan, sometimes they're like, oh, I want to avoid chilling out with Sudanese people, and that makes me like a little bit sad, I think. And then also like when people tell me like, oh, I don't want to go to Sudan. Sudan is such a dump or such a bad place or whatever. And I don't know, it just makes me feel very depressed, I think. For me personally, I think Sudan is very, very important in life.
That's what about, so in relation to like you traveling to Sudan and visiting your family and stuff like that, Sudan is like where the heart is, where everything began for you. So it's the most important, and as you know, Ashraf, like I grew up in Sudan up until I was like 5. So my habobat, my halat, oh my word, like Sudan, like you said before, yes, Sudan is a country that has given us a foundation more or less into how we strive, I think, in relation to how strong we are. because in Sudan people are ما شاء الله تبارك الله. لما انت تكون صغير وعايش في السودان في الاوقات احنا طبعا كبار احنا مو صغار هسه لما انت تكون عايش في السودان في وقت وبعدين تخرج من السودان وتعيش انه في دولة غربة تفقد اشياء كثيرة حب الحبوبة you know like اللجانات والطعمية يا اخي الطماطم يا اخي الدكوة all these things like literally I'm like wherever I go in the world the food the people and حبوبة that's
الكركديه
basically
والبنبوليز والدردمة
يا الله يا
والسخان
الكتاح
والنيل الجميل. والله في حاجات كثيرة السودان يعني when you when you're not there when you're there I should say you take for granted like when you're not. And then يعني whenever I go into Sudan on holiday I make sure I spend all my money on things I can't buy in like in UK or in Europe. So I make sure I never buy any Coca-Cola, and I make sure I buy some Steam or some Champion or some Mazda, you know. And then at the same time, it's like supporting Sudanese business and Sudanese products as well. And I think that's a big thing, especially as an entrepreneur, you know, and making sure that you support and you buy Sudanese and you keep people in business. I think that's very important.
you find it like
Right, I'm gonna ask you. Sorry, guys.
Okay.
Continue.
Go on.
No, it's fine. Let's see what you're about to say.
No, you said you were going to ask me a question. I'm waiting my question now.
Yeah, I was gonna ask you one of the questions to answer it.
Okay.
Yeah. All right. I was gonna ask you about like that career question because I know you were talking about how you think like people that aren't ambitious is something that you don't really like. So if you could have any career without worrying about money or any other constraints, what would you do?
I would do what I'm doing now. I would do exactly what I'm doing now because being a teacher, I think being a teacher is the best career to have. يعني like الأساتذة من ناحية الموتيفيشن من ناحية الأشياء اللي تتعلم from the teachers. I would be a teacher. I would be a teacher. I would do it for free. I would do it to motivate people. I would do it probably like for as long as I could. What about you?
Yeah, I think for me, like not just any teacher. I think for me, obviously Ahfad University plays a big role in my heart, and that's where I grow up when I go to Sudan and stuff. So I think, and then also the fact that both my parents are teachers. So I think, and I see myself going back and settling down in Ahfad University and working in the business school and teaching and making the business school the best school in the university. But also, I think, even though I thought it would probably be like my main job, like I think I'd still go and teach at other places or probably have like my own institution as well. Because, and I think the problem with Ahfad is it's limiting because obviously it's just for women. But not just that, also not everyone can afford, not everyone can go. So I want to like have that option where like my services are like available for other people as well. 100%. I think that's.
What makes you happy?
Man United winning and watching Man United makes me very, very happy. I think. I don't know. I think like, yeah, I think in terms of happiness, I don't know. Money? No, I'm kidding. Money doesn't make anything up. No. I think no, honestly, like I think and just helping people and seeing like these success because obviously like Sudanpreneur plays a big role in my day. So whenever I see like people doing stuff, it makes me very happy. And I guess being in Sudan as well makes me happy. I don't know why I'm stuck in this little island here. But I don't know. What makes you happy, Zara?
My family. My family. That's the only thing that makes me happy. Wallah, like like all of them من جد لما يتصلون علي they're like, oh Zara, I need some advice. Oh Zara, I miss you. Oh Zara, I've done this. And all the Snapchat and the WhatsApp video calls, and like it makes me happy to see them happy. That's what makes me happy. But I don't think money doesn't make me happy. When I was little, I used to rip money up. And I think I learned to value money very, very differently. You work hard because you get money and then you can distribute it. You know, obviously you pay yourself first, but it's the third thing that makes me happy. But the first thing is my family. My family are healthy, happy. إيش أحتاج أكثر من كذا basically. And food. Okay, I love food.
Food is very important. Then you're lucky you're in a country that has very good food or flavor, because you know England, they don't know.
فين في إسبانيا؟
Yeah.
أخي إسبانيا ما عندها ولا شيء حلو. أقول لهم ادوني شطة يقول لي لأ. Like what on earth?
Oh, I guess that's because you're not in the capital. Maybe that's why you're in the non.
Oh no, sorry. I'm in a village called Alarino Grande. I live in Andalusia. No, I think it's because I don't eat red meat, and like I don't eat a lot of things.
That's it. That's because you've got all these limitations that make it difficult for you to.
Yeah, I'm really, really odd.
Yeah, to enjoy.
You can't go and just eat salad, basically.
Exactly.
You have one really, really interesting question for yourself to respond to?
I did, and then I was putting the questions in, and then I think I lost.
And then you lost the questions.
Yeah. Okay.
You know what? The best thing about technology is you have your phone, you have the computer, you have an iPad, you have everything around you. So when you don't have to have pieces of paper, so تقدر تقعد على التليفون وتقول لك اوكي هذه الأسئلة اللي كنا حطيناها. Like تعرف السؤال اللي
I've actually got some of the questions here, so I can ask you another beautiful question. When you're reading news stories, what sort of story or behavior tends to inspire you?
People, their achievements, their successes. And like I love, for instance, like when I read a book that's like an autobiography, for example, like I've started to read some of Elon Musk's, well, I wouldn't call it an autobiography, but some of Elon Musk's work and what he has done. Or if I'm reading an article about somebody who has strived and succeeded in something, that's the type of thing it inspires me to see that we can be from a particular background, but we can still progress and develop if we put our mind to it. So those types of stories inspire me, especially like when I read my mom's stories and the things that she's done in life, and I look at the magazines, I'm like, oh my God, Eddie Mama. Or like I look at the magazines and the newspapers that my daddy has been in, and that inspires me to
the questions. Yay.
Yeah. What did you say? Other questions?
No, I said I found the questions.
شاطر تبغى نجمة.
I didn't mean to cut you off. You can totally continue.
لا عادي. No, because أنت لازم تحط الأسئلة أصلا.
Oh, don't worry. I'm typing them, so it's fine. So now I've got what type of story or behavior makes you angry? That's it. Angry.
Government. No, I shouldn't say that. I studied politics. What type of stories make things in relation to when people are going through hardship and they're asking for help and they don't get given the help that they need or the help that they deserve? It makes me really angry when people are going through inequality, and when people are discriminated against, and when people are not given their rights, because we understand and we learn. We have the Universal Declaration of Human Rights, we have the Human Rights Act, and the Universal Declaration of Human Rights states that we have the right to education.
Doesn't it only apply to Americans and all that?
America شنو?
Isn't that like the American Declaration of Human Rights? Isn't that like an American document?
1948, yeah. But it's the universal. Oh, sorry, it's not global, yeah? It's only America.
I think so. And in England, we don't really have, like, the Bill of Rights doesn't really impact, in a sense, it's not legally binding in England or in Africa, for example, right? I don't know.
No, it tends to, because if you think of like the Universal Declaration, you have a lot of like the United Nations rights. They come from that as well. And it's also, you've heard of the story of the Tablet of Hebrea, if I said it right, where the rights were written. But a lot of like the rights, I think like the values and the rights come from a mixture of things. Like I said earlier, you have the Human Rights Act in the UK, and you know this, right?
Yeah.
So you're right for an advocate if you cannot fight for what you want or you don't have the power to, you can always have access to an attorney. We have people who are, for example, organizations like Amnesty who fight for people who have been treated wrongly. I'm saying a lot of today for some odd reason. I think I've had a very, very day today. So my apologies to everyone. It's a lot more like, it's a lot more like very, very well framed and shaped and stuff. And I think this is more like today is more sort of like we're trying to give you parts of our personality. So this is how we're going to be when we're on Zoom with you or we're on Skype with you. Later on, we've got a couple of people on Zoom who are already interested in the courses, and it is growing. So it's very, very good in relation to doing things like this. So you get a chance to see kind of like, as I continue to say, we are who we are, and this is who we are in front of you. We don't change our personalities. This is how we are all the time. And I speak to Ashraf all the time. And Ashraf's like, Zara. So this is what we're like. So happiness is food and money, Ashraf. That's what I've learned from you today.
100%. All right. So, what are you most proud of? Yeah, Zara.
Myself, my strength, my power, my determination, and
Yes,
my courage. So I'm proud of. I'm proud of my mommy and my daddy teaching. My mommy and my daddy, mom or baba, or mom and dad, or however you want to say. I'll still call them mom and baba. I don't really care. Yeah, I'm proud of the the courage that I have when I'm going through. Like لما يكون عندي شيء صعب, like it doesn't phase me really. It's like, okay, I find I'm always constantly looking for a solution. So that's what I am most proud of, my ability to continue fighting and standing and progressing and developing as a human being. I'm 34 years old and I still feel like there is so much to do and so much in relation to how I can grow as an individual and as a person. I know my mom's going to watch this later on and she's going to say, yeah, Vitti.
For me, I'd probably say I'm super, super duper proud of Trainome, man. Like, I'm really loving this platform. The fact that I can express myself and showcase and share my skills with other people, and they can come and learn. And then, like, the journey that we've had so far in the last couple of weeks slash months, like, I'm very, very proud of that. So I'd say that's one of my most proudest achievements, I think. And I can't
So
wait to see like where this this rest of this journey goes, and like once we start getting like alumni and people that graduate from our classes and we have a whole community and network, I think it's be very interesting one day.
It's like the teammates that we have as well, because together, like Ashraf, yourself, Ahmed, and Maha, it's like it's the unity that we have. It's like it's constantly like switched on, and it's like everybody's doing something at like silly o'clocks during the night, and it's sort of like it's incredible to wake up in the morning and to see like and احنا سوينا كذا 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 and احنا باقي لنا كذا كذا كذا. So it's like we push each other. So presently, with Trainome, yeah, mashallah, we've only been going for like if it's not even been a few months, really. No, for
I think
about
I think it's been about 6 weeks,
yeah,
right? Five,
so
six
like a
weeks, I
month
think.
in
Yeah, a month and a
relation
bit. And like we've made amazing progress, I think.
to Sharper. We were going to do this, so it was like kind of short. Do you have any questions or any comments from anything that you have, or?
Um, no comments on the live chat. But in terms of so now we're about 24 minutes in. I know we want to make it a little short and sweet. So I think maybe we can answer the last question, which is when were you the happiest? And then we could call it a day, I think.
When was I? Why don't you respond to that question first so I can get some idea?
Um, um, this is the happiest I've ever been. Sitting here with my Zara on the live stream. I think I've never been happier. No, honestly, when was I the happiest? Like, it's one of those very difficult questions to answer, because it's like everything else is more important. Is it like when I graduated, or is it like when I was going to say when I was born, but I don't think I can remember that one. Um, um, when like that's the thing. I'm always happy, and I think I'm always equal happy. So, okay, I don't know. All right, maybe 1999 when Man United won the treble. That was like one of the happiest I've ever been. And in 2008 when Man United did the double as well, I think that was like super duper happiness. Whenever Man United wins, that's when I'm happy. And then like when they
Well,
lose,
no,
it's
it
like
was Liverpool last time.
Liverpool. I mean, we like Mohamed Salah, but other than that, you know, I can't wait for a Sudanese player to win the Premier League or to play
I
in the
don't.
Premier League.
So football, food, and money. Those three things make you happy.
Man United, food and money. That's it.
Man United. So 1990 song. You know the exact date, yeah?
Yeah. We're the only English team to win the treble. So the treble is winning the European Cup, the Premier League, and the FA Cup in the same season.
Okay, football. Very, very interesting.
What about you? When were you the happiest, Zara?
Oh my word. In 1986, when I was born.
Okay,
No,
I thought so as well.
I think the happiest that I've been was moving here. The happiest moving here. It was very difficult to begin with, but the happiest was, being in a different country and learning different things. So I'm always the happiest when I'm learning something and I'm progressing in some way. So to say like specifically الوقت اللي كنت فيه فرحانة. صعبة، السؤال صعب
So
صح؟
hard, right? So difficult.
شوف الأسئلة اللي كتبتها مرة صعبة. متى تكون
So difficult.
فرحان؟ لما
طب
نصحى
انت
الصبح.
درجة عدة للطلب بتاع انك يا زلمه شكلك.
Oh my word. So we've done 27 minutes now. And we did it last time. It was around 16 minutes, the last live that we did. And, as you know, guys, this is going to be on Facebook. It's going to be on YouTube. When you do go onto YouTube, you'll see our other ones as well. So you should be able to see it. It's on Sudanpreneur's account. Mr. Ashraf, Nageeb? No, Nageeb. Nageeb. This is the problem with like pronouncing things in the English language. Like I have Jesus and Jesus in classes, and I'm like, Jesus, and he's like, my name is Jesus. I'm like, so Jesus, are you happy today?
It's crazy that, but I don't know. It's like weird. I was gonna say it's crazy that they're named after Jesus, but then again, we have a lot of Muhammad, so it's like kind of the same thing, isn't
We have a lot of Ashrafs, Sharif and Shah. There's two, but there's only one Zara.
it?
Perfect. So are we just gonna sit here like this, like a little while? Yeah.
I'm gonna actually ask you another one of the questions. So, what do you want to change about the world, and about yourself? So you have to change both.
About the world and myself. The first thing that I would change about myself is to learn to stop being so nice to people, because
Oh,
I'm too nice.
Giving me answers. I was about to say that.
No, it's like in relation, it's about being nice to the people. You're nice to everybody, obviously. Some
Yeah.
people, I think they tend to I like take advantage of your niceness and your kindness. And I think sometimes you tend to leave yourself out because you're too busy, helping other people. And you learn that you have to start with yourself, and you have to try and take care of yourself. If you're healthy and you're eating and you're fine and you're a millionaire, then it's slightly a different thing altogether. But if you're trying to achieve something, sometimes you tend to leave what you're supposed to do to try and help another person, but you're not really helping yourself. So it's kind of like give a man a fish or teach them how to fish. That's how I see it as niceness. Not like إذا شفت واحد في الشارع أقول له أنت مالك يا ما أدري إيش. No, it's not about that at all. But it's more like about being selective to who you are nice to, because as you know, the world is huge. And I think what I would change about the world is the inequality that exists, because, like how the systems are created, it's like some people are given more opportunities than others because they just happen to be born in another part of the world. So like صعب لما تكون انت عايش في دولة وعندك طموح وانت تبغى تكبر وتبغى 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 وما عندك المجال ولا الإمكانية. So إذا عندنا نحن equality, and this is why Trainome exists, because we're trying to give the equality in understanding and the equality in learning how to generate a power that's from people who have experienced opportunities because they happen to be born into a different type of family or a different type of system, I guess. So I would change in relation to trying to provide equality. I think the only way that you can become equal is never anyway, because there's no such thing. Everybody's an individual and nobody can really be equal. There are people who are smarter, there are people who are more attractive. And sometimes I think we tend to compare ourselves to try and be equal. So to try and say that I want things to be equal is kind of me being a hypocrite. So I think that I would make it so everybody has the same opportunity, that I have had and that you have had, Ashraf, to be able to, to grow, to be able to nourish their own lambs. And, I think that by us giving them, not them, but giving everybody the opportunity through Trainome to try and fetch their, their bottle to try and fetch their bottle so we can fill it up with water. That's what we're trying to do. That's what Trainome tries to do. By joining us, you'll notice and you'll understand that you have personalities who are very, very strong, very, very strong individuals. So in order for us to try and change the world, I think it's to try and re-educate and educate ourselves to understand our equalities and to understand what we can and what we can achieve and what we can do. And for you then, so you can't just ask me a question, you need to.
So what I would change about the world, I would make Sudan a much better place, much more prosperous, much more fair and inclusive, and maybe do like a mental brainwashing of everyone, re-change their mindset and make them more open-minded. And that's what I would change about the world. I think the rest of the world is not really that important. And then about myself, yeah, like a lot of times I think and I'm too nice and I tend to get taken advantage of. So that's something I've been trying to work on. But maybe if I could like magic it a little bit faster, that would definitely be a nicer thing.
What do you love about yourself then? What 3 things
I
do you
love
love about
everything about myself. I'm amazing. I'm smart. I'm not kidding. Well, I would honestly like. I really I like the fact that I'm nice, but at the same time, I know it's like not good. But at the same time, I don't want to ever stop being nice because someone hurt me or someone took advantage of me. You know what I mean?
Mm.
I don't want to give them that power over me. Um, like I like that I'm creative and I think outside the box.
Mm.
But I don't like the fact that like and I do better at the brainstorming rather than the implementation part. Um, that's definitely one thing. Yeah, it's very hard to talk about myself without coming across as very arrogant. So I think I'm just going to keep it there. Yeah, but I don't know. I think that's
I like that. I think I'm too nice, but I'm also arrogant.
that's it. That's it. I'm too amazing, not arrogant. I don't.
I think you're very, very generous in relation to the time that you give, because with Trinity, with what we are trying to give. But I think like in relation to how you are always posting on social media, how you're always active, how you're always there, how you're always giving. That generosity is very, very important, and that is a quality that not many people have, but that's a quality like في السودان الجنرosity ما شاء الله تبارك الله عليه. I don't know it's like you can go to anybody's house in Sudan and they're very, very generous. They're generous people. So that's
Give you
kind of
drink,
like
they'll give you food,
a birthright.
they'll give you- you stay there long enough, you'll definitely get fed and you'll get given drink. And sometimes you just gotta tough it out.
باقي لنا دقيقة صح؟
Yeah. Okay. So do you want to like sum up today's topic and then talk about like how people can access the platform and how the learning process works for them as well?
Okay, so growth and development is one of the units which I reworded, and it is called personal values and ideals. And personal values and ideals, in this section, you get to understand, the things that make you happy, the things that you can work on. Like me and Ashraf have responded to these questions. طبعا الحصص نقدر نسويها بالإنجليزي ولا بالعربي. وحنا نتكلم اللغتين هذا شيء عادي. إذا أي شخص يبغى بالإسباني كمان أنا موجودة، بس نفضل إنه نركز على اللغة الإنجليزية. وبعدين من ناحية إنه الأكسس، إذا تبغى if you want to find us in Trainome, find us on Facebook, Trainome, however you want to pronounce it for those of you who are bilingual. And you can also access us on Instagram, you can access us on Facebook. So go to Instagram or type into Google Trainome. So Trainome is at the bottom of the screen. As you can see, it's T-R-A, I've spelt it incorrectly, Trainome. That's because I'm thinking in 3-4 languages, so my apologies. And yes, in relation to this part of the course falls under Ashraf's area, and also some of it in my area. So Ashraf will speak to you about things like awareness of المشاكل اللي تصير day to day, how you can build yourself, how you can become better in understanding what you are good at. And I think in relation to Ashraf and his experiences, he's going to give you guys a lot in order for you to understand how to become better within yourself. So I'm just going to be the teacher who is like, in this part especially, who follows along with what Ashraf says, because Ashraf has been doing this, as you all know, more than I have. And I will provide for you guys the coursework. So if you need any activities, no, you do have homework you have to do. And the homework for this is, the first homework you have is, you buy yourself a journal or you find yourself some paper. And what you do is you write down 3 points. What you love about yourself, what you want to change about yourself, and where you see yourself. So in this part of the course, إذا أشرف يقدر يترجم، بس على الأقل تفهمون اللي أنا قصدته. الأشياء الثلاثة المهمة: الشيء اللي تحبونه في نفسكم، الشيء اللي تبغوا تغيرونه في نفسكم، والشيء اللي تبغوا تحسنونه من ناحية إنه وين تشوف نفسك أو وين تشوفي نفسك في 5 و10 سنوات. So remember on YouTube is not up there, it's not down there, it's YouTube is up there? No. Why am I doing it like that?
All right, YouTube is like there, yeah. That's one.
Instagram is there, and you have Facebook
Right,
is
look,
there.
YouTube is here, yeah.
I should have been like a weather forecast woman, but yeah. Anyway.
Yeah. All right, perfect. So we're gonna end it here. We're gonna love you and leave you. Do you want to talk about next week's session, or do you want to leave it as a surprise? Should we leave it as a surprise? It's a surprise. All right.
Yeah,
all right. Thank you very much, everyone, for tuning in, and show us some love on Instagram, Facebook, and YouTube. And also make sure you tell all of your friends and tell them to tell all of their friends and spam everyone in the groups and all of that. We love you. Yeah, I'll see you next week. Inshallah. And then also just a quick reminder, we have our Afkar Shababna series every Friday. This week we actually have a really awesome guest. Her name is Dream Jaili, and she is the founder of this organization called the Muse Hub. And the session that we're going to be talking about is looking at I think it's art and the business of art in relation to Muse Hub, the Muse Hub. and we're going to be posting on Instagram the poster very soon, inshallah. And then next week at the same time is going to be at 8 o'clock Sudan time. And I think the Friday session is also 8 o'clock. We're trying to keep it consistent so that people remember, inshallah. And we'll see you next week. Yalla. Bye bye.
Bye, guys. Assalamu. Bye.